Hey everybody, this is my first video in a series of videos about The Art of War by Sun Tzu and how it relates to business. You've probably heard of The Art of War. It's a book written a couple thousand years ago by Sun Tzu. He was a Chinese military strategist. Back then they were fighting constantly over in China. So this became a necessity, The Art of War. Study it, learn it, how to dominate. Very similar with Niccolo Machiavelli, that guy right over there in Florence in Italy at the time. It was warring city-states. He wrote The Prince for the same reason, analyzing what was going on and how to make it succeed. Now, these things became popular again in the 1980s, and I've studied them ever since college. I've been fascinated with The Art of War and with The Prince by Machiavelli. So today we're going to start with the very beginning of The Art of War. There's 5 factors that need to be studied. One is Tao or Taoism, the other is heaven, the other is earth, the other is leadership, and the other is the laws of military organization and discipline. We may ask, well, what does that have to do with business? Well, it does relate. Going through this in The Art of War, Tao or Taoism is that people are in tune with the leader. People are adhering to what the leader says and thinks and does. So what is this? This is office culture. Taoism is office culture as it relates to business. If you have a healthy office culture, your employees will be healthy, happy. They'll be happy to follow direction. They'll be happy to be proactive. They're in line with the mission. They understand the mission. So that's how it relates to business. Taoism is culture. Next is heaven. Art of War describes heaven as yin and yang, hot and cold, these different variables. Well, heaven and the changes of the season. Well, heaven in this regard, as it relates to business, are all the variables out there. The seasons, it's wintertime, retail might be slower. It's summertime, people are on vacation. These different things matter. It's not the landscape, but it's the variables involved with what you're trying to do and what's going on out there. Then there's earth. And earth in The Art of War is described as the terrain. Well, this one's easy. How does it relate to business? The landscape. You look at the landscape out there, not the hills and the valleys, but where you're at. For example, in downtown Easton, the landscape, parking is a problem. There's a lot of people moving into the downtown with the new apartments. That's a good thing. There's a ton of restaurants, so it's super competitive. You look at these elements of the landscape and determine how to go forward with business. Like, for example, if you want to open a new restaurant, maybe downtown Easton is not the best place because there are so many restaurants. You look at the landscape, there's not as many restaurants here, or this place is more popular. Landscape is very important when you're trying to determine what to do with your business. That's earth, it's landscape. Leadership, or generals, as The Art of War says. The Art of War says the general should have wisdom, courage, strictness, and trustworthiness. Well, what is that? That's the boss of the leader. The leader has to be wise, has to have courage, has to be strict, disciplined, and has to know what they're doing. And that relates to number 1, Taoism. You have a strong general, the culture's good, the people will follow. So that's really important. As a leader of your business, or as a manager even, you have to look at these things. Maybe evaluate on a scale of 1 to 10 where you're at with wisdom, courage, strictness, and trustworthiness, and see where you need to improve on, or what your strengths are. This is really important, and it's neat how he distilled these 4 characteristics are what make a good leader. That applies to a general of an army or a boss of a business. And the 5th factor that he says to consider and study is the laws of military organization and discipline. Well, how does it apply to business? That's all the procedures you have in place in your business for operational efficiency, that type of thing. The logistics of what you're doing with your business, how these things relate and work together. Every business is different. You can look at your business. Are procedures in place? Are they good? Are we following them? Can we improve upon them? Where are the pain points? Can we do better? And just like in the military, they look at things, okay, what do we need to fix here? And in the military, it's a little more important. It's not life or death and victory. But with your business, you can analyze these things. It's just as important. Is your institutional knowledge all recorded? Are the people following procedures and protocols? Your protocols with your clients? All these things, they all add up to operational efficiency, saving time, which means saving money. So that's just the first step of me talking about The Art of War, these 5 factors that Sun Tzu says to consider. Now you see how it does relate to business. It's not that hard to look at and apply this to what you're doing. And it's a great way, as you know, as a business owner, It's hard sometimes to focus or to come up with new ideas or look at what's going on. This is a great way to reframe what you're looking at and discover some new things you can do with your business to succeed. The other little thing just to throw in here, Sun Tzu mentions in The Art of War that warfare is based on deception. And what he means by that is these 5 factors you're considering, don't share that with the world. Keep that private. Don't put these things on social necessarily, okay, about these specifics about your business. Keep it vague. For example, if someone asks me, how's business? I always say, oh, it's pretty good. I don't say it's great, we're killing it, or it's really slow. Deception. You're not lying to people, but you want to keep the inner workings of your business and what you're thinking and working on behind the scenes. Put the other stuff out there in terms of advertising and good social content, but think about that. It's interesting. Warfare is based on deception. So I hope you enjoyed. This is the first of many videos I'm going to do breaking down the different things Sun Tzu says in The Art of War. I'm also going to do the same with The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. I love this stuff and hopefully you find it helpful. Stay tuned for the next one.